Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of me rambling on the internet. I'm excited to see you and discuss side hustles with you today because that is my current bee in my bonnet. And I have a number of thoughts of why I don't like it and why, if possible, you should probably avoid them.
Hi, welcome to Simply Intentional. My name is Katie. I'm on a journey to live my most fulfilling life and hopefully inspire others to do the same. Come along as I figure out my 30s one day at a time, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my adventures.
The reality is, given the current climate and economy and all those things, and I'm not an economist, I don't really understand it. I just know that things are really expensive. There's probably a lot of us out there that need to be making more money or want to be making more money to make life a little bit comfortable because we live in a world where there's a phrase called the cost of living, which, if you think about it, is absolutely horrific. But today I want to talk about side hustles and what they can be anything, right? You could start a side business, you could sell your art on Etsy. There's any number of things we can think about as like side hustles. The thing with that is it can be really dangerous, right? And if you have this idea that you have to be producing something that you can sell, that you can monetize, then you will get this idea that the only valuable way to spend your time is by doing this. And one of my least favorite dystopian phrases of all time is optimizing your day and producing as much as humanly possible, be that goods, services, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that's always bad, right? There's plenty of things where, if it's your passion or if you're working on the side because you want it to be your full-time business or you just enjoy doing it, then, obviously that's not what I'm talking about. But I think it's a really dangerous idea to, monetize all the things that bring us joy. Myself, I know, I make art, I do cross stitch, I do all these kinds of stuff. And people are like, oh, you could sell it on Etsy, or you could do XYZ with it. And it's like, maybe I just want to make it for the sake of making it and give it to people. Could I make money selling stuff on Etsy? Maybe. My cross stitch isn't that good. And I do end up with a lot of it because it's kind of a hobby where you end up with all of these pieces that you've made. But the amount of work that would go into opening an Etsy store, doing the shipping, doing all of that stuff, that's a lot of work. And it's not something that I need to do, and so I don't want to do it, right? And we need to avoid always monetizing our joy. So much of our life is a commodity, right? We sell our time to be able to afford food, to have a place to live. And I think that we do need to have things in our lives that we do just for the sake of doing them because they bring us joy, because it's an escape, because it activates our brain, it helps us be creative, it does all those things, right? And we need to have areas of our lives that are just for us, that we can protect and defend because we have the space to do so. And so much of our lives we are optimizing, and we have step counters. We have to hit 10,000 steps a day. We have to do reading challenges and make sure we read X number of books a month or a year and post about it on the internet. We do 30-day workout plans and all of these things, and it turns so much of our lives and our free times into something that's trackable and definable, and then we can talk about it and all of these things. And that's great to have goals. We need to have things that we're working towards for our own reasons. One of the things I'm doing this year is 365 days of yoga. Yesterday, at the time of filming, was 200 days of yoga. But I'm not doing that for any reason. I don't post daily, weekly updates, monthly updates. I posted something on Instagram about it for day 200 because that was a big milestone for me. But it wasn't about the yoga, and it's not about I'm going to accomplish 365 days of yoga so I can tick a box. It's because I like to invest 10 minutes to an hour in myself every day where I just chill out and move my body. I do something that I love because it makes me feel good. And that's the only reason I'm doing it. And I set myself the challenge of 365 days because I've done 100 days previously and I enjoyed it a lot. And that's also something that I didn't really post that much about. I mentioned it here and there, but it wasn't something that I was actively every single day being I check this off the list, because it makes it become something that is done solely for the sake of completing something or having this thing that I've accomplished for the sake of I've ticked the thing off the box and I'm doing something productive. It's no, I'm doing this for myself because it feeds my soul, right? And I've also had I'm an avid reader, and I always have people say, oh, you should track all the books you read every year in a spreadsheet. I'm why would I do that? And then it creates this idea, right? Where if in 2021 I read 75 books and then in 2022 I read 60 books, well, I'm not doing as good. It's a hobby. It's books. I don't need to do better every year. I just need to read the books I enjoy because I like doing it. It makes me feel happy and cozy, right? Another big part that I think is really interesting with this is we have this idea that we have to be improving all the time, right? And I've said this before in other videos, you are not a self-improvement project. You should always prioritize your growth because it's good for your being, but you're not actively trying to improve yourself because that implies that you need improvement, which means you're not good enough now. And you are. And a recent concept that I've been learning about is this idea of the hedonic treadmill, which is basically like we have a set level of happiness. And if you go out there and say, like, I'm going to read 100 books this year, and you read 100 books, well, then that's just a thing that you've done, and your baseline happiness will recalibrate. And then we are no longer satisfied with the things that once brought us joy. We have a set point of joy. We cannot be constantly feeling ecstatic all the time. For me, I recently had a video go like semi-viral. I don't know. That's embarrassing to say, but it had like 4,000 views on this one video. And before that, I don't think I'd had a video break 1,000 views before, and I was ecstatic. Ecstatic. I was like, oh my god, because normally my videos before that, like I had some that were like a few hundred, but I was usually averaging anywhere between like 30 to 100 views on a video. And I got super excited. And then my next video posted and I got like 100 views, and then after that I got like 50. And the funny thing is 3 months before that, if I had not had that one video hit 4,000 views, 100 views would have made me ecstatic. 8 months ago, a year ago, when I started my channel, 50 views would have made me ecstatic. I was, getting 10 and I was excited. And so this is the idea, right? If you open up an Etsy store and you're selling things, and one month you make $1,000, you're super excited and you're really happy, and the next month you make $300, you're gonna think that you're failing at this endeavor. But the reality is you made $300 you didn't have before, right? Like, you're not failing. And we monetize and objectify and optimize our lives to the point where we miss out on the things that we're actually accomplishing. Like, I know for myself, I've been trying to save money because I have some like goals that I want to work towards, and if I don't save as much as I ought to because I went and did something like, I don't know, enjoyed myself, then you feel really weird about it. And I think that we need to be a lot kinder with ourselves and understand that like not every area of our life needs to be like optimized and tracked. And another part with side hustles or trying to like optimize your income, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things, but the thing that I want people to be cognizant of with this is lifestyle creep. You go into this thinking, I'm gonna make some money to save or invest or do whatever, go on a vacation, and then I work for myself. Like, I've been working really hard and I've sort of girl bossed my way into making a lot more money than I was a few years ago. And you have this lifestyle creep, right? And so then you want to keep up with people that you know, and so you're buying more things and you're signing up for more services. And the reality is like your lifestyle inflates to match your income, and then you're not really getting ahead in the way you thought you were in saving for a trip or saving for a move or whatever it was you wanted to do. This idea of keeping up with the people around you, of always having to have the newest phone, the newest car, whatever it is, right? Like, being sold this bill, and so told that we need to consume more and work more and earn more because of capitalism. As always, I'm going to bring it back to that, right? But this is the idea of the side hustle. You need to be optimizing what you're doing. You need to be making as much money as possible. You need to be as productive as possible. And we are losing so much of our ability to just like hang out and relax, to experience the moments that we have. And you don't need a brand new car to go out and have a fun road trip with your friends. You need a safe vehicle. You need one that works for your needs. You don't need a brand new phone every few years. You need one that's going to take good quality pictures. I need one that's going to film these videos. Is this the newest version of this phone? No. It was secondhand when I got it. My laptop is secondhand. It's not a new laptop. I've had it for several years, and it was old when I got it, right? Because I got a secondhand laptop. Because that's what works for me. I don't have a car. I take the bus everywhere I go. People are like, you should get a vehicle. And to me, like, I'm fortunate enough to live in a city where I can take transit. It's easily accessible. The buses here are clean and safe, and I know that's not the case everywhere, but like, the thought of suddenly spending $700 a month on transportation when I currently spend less than 100, and that includes Ubers and bus tickets and all that stuff, like, not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it just to like have a car because then people think it's weird that I don't have one. I don't care. I know if you judge me for the fact that I don't have a car and I take the bus, like, that says more about you than me, man. You just need to disinvest yourself from that capitalism. And so be wary of why you want to start a side hustle. Be wary of the people that tell you to monetize or track every hobby that you have, because you will rob yourself of intrinsic things. Your value is in what you produce. Your value is not in how many books you've read, how many steps you've taken. Your value is intrinsic. Your value is going to be defined by what you want it to be. For me, my value comes from myself. It comes from being compassionate. It comes from trying to understand that people are coming from the best place possible. It's for keeping a kind heart in a world that people always want to tell me is cruel. And I don't buy that. I don't think that people are inherently greedy. I don't think that we are all inherently selfish. I think that we are a species under duress and we are living through some wacky times, man. Wacky times. But you don't need to optimize your life. You don't need to sell or do anything. As long as your needs are met, as long as you are happy, then you are doing enough and you are enough. All right, my dudes, that's what I have for you this week. I am going on solo vacations coming up here, so check that content out coming up soon. And as always, you can catch me on Instagram and other social medias. TikTok's unhinged. I apologize in advance for that. If you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more of it, please subscribe. My channel's definitely growing. I'm really excited about it. And so if you want to stick around and support me, please do that. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.